Hi. For those who don't know me through my Twitter, I'm Miwei. I'm a self-taught artist, and this is basically my first tutorial video here on YouTube. English is not my native language, so I will probably stumble a lot over words, rambling, stuttering. I'm really nervous. I can text better in English. I'm not that good in talking. You will probably hear a lot of as well. Uh, uh, it takes me a while to sort the words in my head, so please bear with me. This is probably also gonna be a very long video. I'm not sure if I'm gonna make it in parts, but probably. I was actually considering not posting it like this, like not making it public, but more like a not listed video. But I remembered how much I struggled when I started to learn to draw. And I was searching for YouTube tutorials and I couldn't find anything great. I'm not pretending like this is gonna be like this top tutorial video, like not even close. There's a lot of amazing videos out there now, like not when I started like 6-7 years ago, but now there's pretty great videos that are way more professional than this. But I just thought it might help, like maybe only like 1 to 2 people, but at least it's something. So I didn't really want to like gatekeep it, and yeah, but maybe no one is gonna watch this. I don't know, but it's still it's gonna be out there. It's people can watch it and maybe get like 1 to 2 ideas how they can approach things differently. Just try something new out. Okay. I think everyone is familiar with Genshin Impact by this point, so I'm gonna draw Lumine and Paimon. I like my sketching progress can be pretty long because I often don't know what I really want to draw, and then I just scribble a lot, and I figured this video is gonna be way too long anyway because this isn't like a specific tutorial for like one thing, but more of I would take you through my art process and like give some commentary, like some little side tips of how I approach things and how I do things, show you my brushes, my layer settings, why I do this or this, and yeah, I just thought if I also included my, I don't know, 2 to 3 hour sketching phase that I have sometimes. So I already did the sketch. I didn't completely I didn't complete it entirely. There are just 2 or 3 things missing, but I did already do it, and I also laid out my color choices for this drawing. I would still talk about how I choose the colors and why, and I think things like that. So yeah, for any background noises, I don't have a recording or streaming friendly environment. I have 6 pets who are batshit crazy sometimes. They allow me to live here so I can pay their rent and provide them food. I'm truly very thankful for that. Oh gosh. Yeah, but anyway, a few things. Like I think this is more of a beginner artist video. So I wanted to say that I'm using an iPad Pro with the Apple Pencil and Clip Studio Paint. This is not necessary. You don't need an expensive tablet. Like when I started, it was still an expensive tablet that I used. I used the Vacuum Intus Pro Medium, but that was because I thought that I needed something like that, which you really don't. Like there are so many amazing artists out there that use the cheapest tablet available, and they are way out of my league. So, and it's also like a matter of preference. Like some people like drawing on an iPad because of the pen to screen thingy. Like it for some people it feels like drawing on paper. Others prefer the PC tablets. Yeah, but if you're just starting out, go with a cheap option. You can use any drawing program. I don't use any fancy tools, and the brushes I'm using, I will explain, like I will show them. And those are mostly brushes that should be available on every drawing program. I did, Clip Studio Paint comes with a store where you can download brushes. I do have um, 2 brushes that I downloaded from there and one that I bought. I will try to find those brushes and link them. But then again, these are like a flat brush and a watercolor brush, which should be an option in most drawing programs. And yeah, so you can just use whatever. You don't need the specific tools I'm using. And you should be able to recreate everything I do in every drawing program with any tablet. So I wanted to get this out of the way. And yeah, so I think I'm gonna start with showing you my brushes, which is the brush I'm using for Lineart. It's an, oh my gosh, I should do a new layer. It's a textured inking brush kind of thing. I got this from Rosori. She's a pretty known artist, so you might have heard of her or maybe even watch her streams or like follow her on her socials. I will link her Gumroad down below. It does cost a bit because I think you can only get the brush if you buy one of her previous Patreon packs from Gumroad and not like an only product thing. So I will also link an alternative for Clip Studio Paint that you can download for free. That's also like a textured ink pen, so that you don't feel like you have to spend money for this brush. Then I have the normal G pen that comes with Clip Studio Paint, just a normal round hard brush. So every drawing program has this. Then I have this watercolor brush that can change its opacity depending on how hard you press on your tablet. But this is also something most art programs should have. I think Clip Studio does have watercolor brushes, but I did prefer this one because it has like a slight edge to it, outline thingy, that I feel like the normal watercolor brush from Clip Studio does not have. And like I said, if I find it, I will link it down below. So next we have this flat brush. It's textured, like you can better see it like this, and it also has the opacity thing. This is also one I downloaded. If I find it, I will link it, but normal art programs should have a flat brush like this. Then the transparent watercolor that comes with Clip Studio Paint, as well as the smooth watercolor that also comes with Clip Studio Paint, and a normal airbrush tool. I also use the default blur tool from Clip Studio Paint, which I also use, but only for the eyes and not all the time, but it does save time. And it's this hair highlight brush that you can use to draw those lines around the pupil. So yeah, these are the brushes I use, and well, for eraser I use the soft one or the hard one. So it's very simple. Okay. Then what I also wanted to talk about, also I'm not sure how audible it is, but my favorite is munching in the background, so this might be a slight ASMR experience for those that enjoy this. I wanted to talk about references. I know this can be a controversial topic because there are a lot of people that think you shouldn't use references, that you should just memorize everything, which does not work like that unless you have this not telepathic memory. Oh my gosh, what was this called? Photographic memory, right? That was it. If you don't have that, use references. Like, it's not a shame at all. You need it, especially if you're drawing like a fan art of a character. You should have your references ready because you can't remember every detail from them. And a place I often use for references is Pinterest. I think this is a really great place for these kind of things. But yeah, I did make a different file just to show you what kind of references. Like, for the drawing I have a bit of like wind going on, so I saved 2 fabric pieces that are like floating, just to have some movement that I can get inspired by. I also have like real life pictures of Lumine, because sometimes I think it can be helpful to see the clothes in a real life environment, like someone wearing it or just someone having tailored this costume like here. And then there's this site called gamesfashionarchive.net, I think. They don't only have Genshin, I think they also have 2 or 3 other games, or even more, I'm not too sure, but they do have the Genshin models, like the ones that are released, not the ones that are leaked or anything, but they are separated into parts, and you can like move them around any angle, from like the side view, a frontal view, an upper view and stuff like that. And I think it's a pretty great way to get references if you are drawing characters from there. And so I made some screenshots from Lumine's design, you can see here, and from Paimon. So, and last thing is for pose references, like if you don't know like how to draw the thing like you're imagining, like the pose, it's always okay to use pose references. You can also, like, if you're comfortable with standing in front of a camera, you can take pictures of yourself, or like maybe only your hand, your arm, or you can ask a friend to be like a model for you and put them in the position and the pose you want your drawing to be. And I searched out these 3 images for hug references. There's also like, if you're using Clip Studio Paint, I mean, there are also apps that have this option and websites, but in Clip Studio Paint it's an integrated feature, and that's the 3D model. You go to your materials, 3D, and then new 3D drawing figure. Can drag this here, make it bigger, and then you can move it around just however you want. Personally, I don't use these models. I'm not really good in positioning them, and I feel like it takes me way more time like this than to just sketch it out and try it myself, like with my memory and with references from the internet or something like that. But if you're a beginner, these tools can be pretty helpful if you know how to use them and if you like using them. So yeah. Okay, so this is the sketch I have. I also have the clothes, well, not really figured out. It's really messy, but I wanted to start here just so I can explain a bit about anatomy and how I structure my poses, I guess, like my figures. And let's gonna start with the face first. So I'm not gonna go into too much detail, but I'm gonna show you a simple structure you can use to draw your faces. So heads up, my circuits are pretty messy, but gonna start with like a feel-like shape. And if you want a straight face, then you can do a line here. But if you want it a bit tilted, then gonna make it like this. And we're gonna add a second line here, which is gonna be our eyebrow line, as well as adding a line here, which indicates where our face is ending, like where our chin is. And since a skull isn't a complete sphere, we gonna flatten it out here, this side. Drawing in a circle like this. And since this part is now flat, this line is like this. And then we're gonna add a line on top and go down here. So now we can connect our chin line to here. And since here are gonna be the eyes, kind of like this, we'll go in here and then out for the cheeks and down to our chin. Like this. So now we're gonna add in our nose, which is like placed at the middle line. So we're gonna go in a slight bit and then a little bit out, just like this. And next we're gonna draw in the eyes. Eyes are in a more almond shape, like this. And you should make sure that between the eyes you have like one eye's width between them. So kinda like this. For eyebrows, eyebrows are always invisibly connected. So what I would do, or well, not what, like what you can do, like to make it a bit more simple, if you have like normal eyebrows and don't do like angry eyebrows or something like that, you can draw a line like this and then erase it. So you can just basically do something like this. What you can also do is gonna extend from the eyes like this, connect it and connect it. Kinda like this. Okay, I'm gonna draw in my pupils. Oh well, my irises, not pupils. And gonna kinda shape out my lashes. Like this. Okay, so the ear, it starts at the end of the nose, like the bottom part of the nose, and ends where the eyebrows are. So, gonna draw in our ear like this. And for the mouth, our straight line from the chin to the nose, like around the middle part, like here. This is the mouth placement. We can start facing the guidelines. and start fixing some things. The face is something I fix and change a lot. I think it's where you make like the most mistakes, I feel like. But it's also like the face is the center point, so you want it to be perfect. Okay. A good way to check for any mistakes that you can't see from this perspective is if you flip your canvas and you immediately see mistakes that you weren't really able to see before. A lot of artists actually have like an extra window open where they have like their normal perspective here and then a flipped canvas like in the corner of the screen, but I feel like it takes away too much space, at least for me when working with the iPad, so I just do it manually. And then you can just add your hair. To your sketch. And now you have your face, which isn't the best, but you can fix it all the time. Like it's just a little guideline. Okay. And if we use this formula on my sketch here, then let me change my pen. Circle, second line, chin. Flatten. Connecting. Then we have our face. Like this. So, yeah. Let's put this. And I think this eye is way too small. Just gonna make it a little bit bigger. Oh my gosh. Okay. Alright, so for here, I'm kind of separating my bodies like this. I dip in here to simulate like the belly button, which is located in between the waist. Like a lot of people think the belly button is like down here, but it's actually way higher up like this. And the shoulders are always like, or mostly, I mean, you can of course draw your figures as, like how you want them to draw. Like there's no right or wrong. You can just have your style and that's great. Just for basic anatomy, it's shoulders are as wide as the hips. And I often like do the hips but a bit more like curvy or like exaggerated or like a bit more sticking out. And as well as doing like these kind of shapes for the legs, like as well as the arms. Wait, let me put this on a separate layer. I think this is a method that really quickly maps out the shape. The lower arm is basically the same height as the upper arm, and also the upper arm ends at the waist, and the lower arm then ends around here, and if we add the hand, it will end around mid-thigh. So these are like kind of the dimensions. For like the breast, what I sometimes find helpful is adding this kind of shape. Or you do this. Should remember that the chest isn't like a basketball. Like, don't just add like these kind of boobies. I mean, you can, of course, but I mean, if you want to draw them a bit more accurately, then they are more like a teardrop shape. Bist du fertig? So, yeah. Let's see. I did get the request for also talking about hands. Hands is such a hard topic. I know that I struggled a lot with it, and I don't have like the best tips. I think a lot comes with muscle memory and just the more you draw it, the better you get. But you can also like add shapes and make a hand out of it. Like, let's see. Can I do like this rectangle? And gonna add this kind of shape on top, a line for the thumb, and this is where the wrist connects. So now you can add 4 circles for the finger joints and 4 circles around this line, like this. And 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you can connect those like this. So if you lower the opacity, and then we can go over and draw in, like, you should try to remember that a finger has 3 joints, so it's not this, and then you can 1, 2, 3. 1, And you can also, like what I often do is the ring finger and the middle finger, just connecting the two like this, and gonna do a middle down line down the middle like this, and then the last finger. And then you kind of have a hand. You can of course always fix it up. Like this. Of course you can do the same with like back view of the hand. So gonna make a square again. Gonna add the wrist, line for the thumb. 1, 2, 3, 4 joints. And well, this kind of shape. 1, 2, 3, 4. Gonna lower the opacity and then gonna draw over it. And now we have a hand. Okay. Okay, so for the side view, I often do a shape like this. And then I add my thumb here. Go down here. Add my finger. And then you can like make this and draw in. It's pretty messy. The rest of the fingers. And I like this. It's just really hard to explain, like hands for me in general. But there are also like really great refs out there. And my cat just made a pretty weird sound. But yeah. Is that kind of the anatomy tips I have? might not be a lot, but I still hope that it can help somehow, like a bit. And okay, so to get back to the sketch, here are the clothes. Yeah, so this were like my initial clothing sketch, like really rough, and then I kind of defined it. And for her scarf, I added the back side, just so I know that they are connecting right. So I'm still missing this piece here, her arm stuff, and the boots, and I'm gonna sketch them in. If I'm gonna erase something from a sketch or from the Lineart, I always clip the layer, like, not clip, I'm adding a mask to the layer, and then if you erase it, like this, and you need it, like for later, like you're gonna change something and then the part that you erased is gone forever, you just go to the mask, and with just some color you can basically just get it back like this. So this is really useful if you don't want to like lose everything, like what you erase, or if you don't want to copy your layers like 100 times so you have everything in reserve. No, like backup, like a backup. So yeah, actually gonna do the same. No, I should draw the boots in first before I do it with the body. Okay, so okay, so gonna add this to the body, a mask layer, and I'm gonna erase these parts. Same with the boots. Okay, do this here already as well. So Okay, so I'm not gonna focus on Paimon in this video because I think this would just be too much. And I'm also gonna fast forward the Lineart steps and the base coloring. I will of course explain something about it or just give a little tip. But I think like with the coloring, like the shading, it's gonna be so long, and I feel like this is already so long. It would just be too much if I leave everything in. So what I do after I have my sketch done, I work a little layer above it, make it red, and then I lower the opacity. I will select a black color, my Lineart pencil, and for lining, like you need time to get used to doing fast lines and like accurate lines and lines that you can just draw over and over and over and over, which is actually a pretty great practice to like hit the same line over and over again, because you won't do your line art like this, but you'll have to continue the lines, which to be honest I'm not that great at it as well, but of course you can always slip up and you can just redo your lines, but it's a pretty good practice. And which you can also try to find in your drawing program is the stabilization for your pen. It's for me, like I don't have like you can't see my cursor, but I hope you can see that I'm like moving this part. And if you go like here's brush size, opacity, anti aliasing, I'm not sure, and then there's stabilization, and you can just move around. Like my stabilization is pretty high, but if I like make it to 0, then lines may get a bit wonkier. Like it just depends, like depending on how stable you can draw your lines, you can just adjust it like to your preference. I mean, it's a little bit wonkier, but yeah. Also, like especially for like the hair parts, I'm just gonna like if I add strands like this and then for these parts, you can add some line weight by just like making these parts a bit thicker. I mean, this isn't a must. There are art styles that don't use this, and I don't always use this, but mostly people put this where lines meet. So like I would do this finger, and I would add the arm line. Then I would add this, or and then here as well as here. It's just a tool to like make it a bit more appealing, or like so it stands out a bit. But of course, it is not a must. If you don't like it, or if it's not your style, it's totally fine. It's just a way to make it stand out a bit more. You can also just do it in certain areas, like not everywhere, and you can just play around. Like also, some people tend to make the lines softer where the light hits. So I'm gonna have my light source here, so that would mean I would do light strokes here. Just gonna make this pretty quick. And where shadows are, like here's gonna be the light in this area, so the line is pretty thin, and here's gonna be a shadowy area, so my line is gonna be thicker here. It's also something artists use. It's just you can play around whatever you prefer. It's just some things I picked up. So yeah, I will record the line art, and then we will hear us again. Okay.